Many years ago, as a young dreamer, I was inspired to conduct orchestras, just to find out that my skills and talents are leaning towards spreadsheets, numbers, and businesses. But the concept of conducting never disappeared. And even in the realm of managing business or development at work, I find myself conducting, working with teams, analyzing data, crafting visions, as if they're part of the grand orchestra, each contributing and playing its part in creating the harmonious outcome. But at one point in time, I start hearing alarming notes and signals. Imagine the forest size of Europe vanishing. That really happened within the last 50 years. Within the same 50 years, fish population in the oceans dropped by 70%. The globe goes through the 6th mass extinction. And as opposed to previous extinction events, this one is happening hundreds or even 1,000 times faster and is not caused by natural disasters. What's the cause? Who is the culprit? Us, all of us. The way we live, the way we conduct business. Our choices regarding production methods, our choices regarding consumption, all these are pushing the planet to the edge. Now, 40% of the population doesn't have access to clear drinking water, a basic necessity of life. Referring to previous speaker, one t-shirt's production consumes water needed for one person worth of drinking, bathing, and hygiene. Pollution was referred. Pollution is connected with 7 million deaths every year. 1 in every 10 deaths on this planet. So these are those alarming notes which are threatening to our future. So what happened? People tried to address it. And back in 2015, the world united under the concept of Sustainable Development Goals. So SDGs were introduced, but were not just aspirations. They were manifesting specific challenges and concrete goals to tackle those challenges. For the first time in the history, we have all the nations, at least all the UN members, aligned around those visions. For the first time, this was not a top-down concept that assumed collaborative approach with a wide spectrum of stakeholders, including businesses and private sector. Actually, a special SDG was introduced, number 17, partnerships, underlying the importance of such a collaborative approach. So, business as usual is not an option anymore. Profit should not be the sole driving force behind it. We need to have sustainability considered in the way we design products, manufacture and consume them. It's time to understand that willingly or perhaps unwillingly, we will embrace sustainability as part of our visions, strategies, decision-making and operations. Well, I know there is this sort of irritating jargon of different terms. CSR, corporate social responsibility, ESG, impact investing, sustainable investing, responsible investing, you name it. Unfortunately, all those terms are used interchangeably. But that creates a lot of confusion and we need to clarify that. To do that, first we need to understand what is the concept of sustainability in the context of business. Now look at these Venn diagrams. So the sustainability is defined as this overlapping area between our economic, social, and environmental interests. In a nutshell, it's profit, people, and the planet. Now this is rooted in the concept introduced back in 90s called triple bottom line, which were urging the companies to look beyond their financial performance and start assessing their impact on the people and the planet. It even went further, suggesting that those companies which have that concept and they are operating within that sweet spot of sustainability, they get a competitive advantage over their peers. Even that time, data show very strong correlation between sustainability and revenue and profits. Well, some people were quite skeptic. They didn't buy it. They said, listen, it's not that the company makes more profits because they are targeting sustainability. It's quite the opposite. They have profits, they have more money, so they can afford targeting sustainability. So the causality was questioned. Well, fortunately by now there are hundreds of studies proving that that's not the case. Actually, your efforts on sustainability is rewarded with material benefits. A recent research from New York University, a meta-research, meta means this particular one was based actually on over 900 different other studies, have shown that ESG practices, ESG stands for environmental, social and governance practices, if performed properly, result in improving financial performance of companies and also improving their risk resilience during crisis times. Again, this is something which is based on almost 1,000 of studies. Now, with all of that, still, we know that typically the companies, the purpose of the company is to maximize profit, right? Maximize their shareholders' benefit. And this is where the concept of corporate social responsibility was introduced as an attempt to somehow pay back to the society and address some of the environmental issues. Many times it feels that the companies try to do something good, some good deeds, in exchange for publicity. So what is happening, they renovate schools, they set up community parks, all with presence of journalists, cameras rolling, red ribbon cutting. And some people are even referring to CSR as CPR, corporate PR. Well, there's nothing wrong with those good deeds. The problem is that those good deeds are scattered and we are not changing the nature of business. They are not changing how the business is conducted. So the better concept is called socially responsible investing or socially responsible business. This is the place where there are a set of rules, set of principles, set of values, and companies are committed to comply with those. So what is happening, there are some rule books which are ingrained, the rules are ingrained in daily operations of the companies. Now there are several sets of those rules coming from different sources, but most of them are usually focused on human rights, labor standards, environmental pollution, maybe fighting corruption. Now the next one is called ESG, probably the hottest topic in everyone's lips today. So ESG stands for, again, environmental, social and governance principles. So there are three sets of those factors that are considered to be very important for the long-term success of the company, and if not addressed properly, might represent risks for their future. So ESG becomes a risk management tool which is based on data analysis, very well-structured strategies, and specific efforts to target those three factors. Now, the other concept is impact investing, which goes even farther. So it's not only about the efforts, it's about what is the results behind those efforts. So imagine driving the car on the road and trying to factor all those road conditions. Turns, wind, rain, those are like ESG. You drive the road trying to reach a destination. Impact investing is doing the same, but at the same time enjoying the scenery, enjoying the company of friends, and sometimes even giving a ride to hitchhikers. So let's be clear. Private sector businesses, they make decisions based on three major things: revenue, risk, and liquidity. So impact investment brought the fourth element, impact. With introduction of SDGs, the concept of impact is now manifested through those 17 goals. So it's like we were driving that road, navigating by the stars before. With SDGs, we got a specific map which shows the destination and the route to that destination. It allows the companies to understand not only what to do, to have a quantitative description of what is impact, but also to understand how much change, how much contribution we make towards a global visionary target. Now, these approaches do not contradict to each other. They are built upon each other. These are just different levels of integrating sustainability in businesses. Now, being on or implementing any of these approaches are welcoming, but even more admirable if we see company moving from one level to the other one. Now, it's like the journey of a musician. You start clapping along the rhythm of the song or tapping a bit. That's CSR. When you learn notes, harmonic laws, and start playing an instrument, this is what SRI, socially responsible investing. When you start playing within the band, in the orchestra, connecting with the other players, this is what ESG is standing for. But it all culminates with a level of virtuoso, when music goes beyond technical performance, when it resonates in the environment and with the audience, creating a lasting emotional impact. So, impact becomes one of the targets of the company. So, if it is a target, it has to be intentional, it has to be measurable. So, but what is impact? By the way, it's not that easy, like in finance. Increase the revenue, decrease the cost, maximize profit. No. There are hundreds of indicators for impact. And experts propose to think of that in 5 dimensions. First, what impact? Are we targeting increasing healthcare access? Are we targeting carbon footprint? Are we targeting biodiversity? Second dimension, who? Who are the beneficiaries? This is your own employees, vulnerable groups, local communities. Then how much impact does happen? Now, how much we need to think in the concept of scope, duration, and depth of the impact. Is it a local activity, say processing, printing paper in your office, or it's a major one, shifting your production facilities to using only renewable energy source? Is it a one-time activity, having your staff going and planting trees, or it's ongoing one, introducing sustainable farming practices? Is it an action, cleaning streets from plastic waste, or it's a systemic change, banning use of plastic in your supply chain or in your sales network? The other concept is the risk of impact not happening. Now, again, reference to the previous speaker. So a clothing company introducing a line based on recycled materials, risk of having decreased sales because consumers believe that that might be of lower, inferior quality. Hotel resorts introducing sustainable practices might see their bookings going down. Why? Because consumers think that there won't be, snow white towels there. The water pressure in shower will not be enough. There won't be those consumable toiletries there. And by the way, these are real cases that happened. The other concept is contribution to impact. So how much impact happened because of our efforts versus what would happen without those. So again, impact is a complex matter. It's not easy, but complexity is the source of material benefits. It's like getting a magnifying glass through which you are looking at your businesses. It's called impact measurement and management. It's like changing your car dashboards to a much bigger panel in the airplane, a pilot's panel, which has all sort of information, you know, air traffic, direction of winds, you know, also signaling lights there. So you zoom in into nitty-gritty aspects of your businesses, and guess what? You start understanding and figuring out what could be done better. How to optimize internal processes. What are the needs of your employees? How to improve engagement with partners. Finding new markets. And ultimately managing risks better. In a nutshell, having a big picture makes your moves smarter. Now, an example for you of making an investment decision based on impact analysis. Now, we have here 5 projects actually, and the projects are about the packaging technology for liquids, beverages, milk, water. And we are looking at some of the impact elements, impact indicators, such as usage of resources, green gas emission, the weight of the container, etc. Now, a question. Out of these 5 projects, which one you would choose? Any hints? Okay. So apparently project 1 is the best because it has the least detrimental effect on nature during production. It also might help with the fuel consumption because of being very lightweight. Project 4 is probably the worst one. Now let's see what unveils. Project 1 is PET bottles. And this is what happened back in the 80s when this technology was scaled up. Couple of decades rolling forward, PET bottles are one of the major pollutants in the oceans and in the land. And this is not an isolated incident. We have seen rural communities going bankrupt because of microfinance. We have seen affordable housing projects turning into high-rise concrete slums. We've seen promoting biofuel resulting in deforestation. Electric vehicles create an issue with recycling the batteries and sharply increasing the demand for electricity, which not necessarily comes from renewable sources, but rather from brown sources. So this is a sobering realization that seemingly impactful projects might not be there if very surface level analysis is conducted. And this is very frequent. Tick those boxes in SDG, colorful boxes, right? So we need to do much more profound analysis of that. Understanding interrelatedness, interconnection of a large number of indicators. What is an impact of those activities in the long run across the generations? In music, you don't judge it by looking at the score and sophistication of that. The powerful piece is not the loudest one or the one with catchy tunes. It is all about connection, communication, resonating with universal human feelings and themes. Relevant to all the generations, regardless of their background and era. So think of your efforts, your decisions, your actions. What is your tune? Is it a discordant echo from yesterday? Or it is a power harmony to build sustainable tomorrow? Think faster, music started, the beat goes on.
And the beat goes on.